The vault alarm screamed the moment Ethan Vaylor stepped inside, but he did not stop. Red light flashed across broken metal walls, and the air smelled like burnt copper. Somewhere above him, security drones were already waking up. He had less than a minute before the place turned into a kill zone. Ethan moved fast between shattered crates and fallen tech displays. He was not supposed to be here. No normal citizen ever entered this underground black market vault alone. But he had come for one thing only, the relic listed in a hidden auction file that no one else believed was real. A low glass case stood at the center of the room, still glowing faintly even with no power connected to it. Inside it rested a small object shaped like a dragon curled into itself. Black stone, smooth like glass, with thin lines that looked like cracks filled with frozen light. Ethan felt something strange in his chest the moment he saw it, like a pull he could not explain. Target acquired, a robotic voice echoed from the ceiling. He did not waste time thinking. He grabbed a metal bar from a broken crate and smashed the glass case. The sound was too loud. The system immediately shifted from warning to lockdown. Doors began sealing one by one. Ethan reached in and took the relic. The moment his fingers touched it, pain shot through his hand. He almost dropped it. But then something even stranger happened. The relic stopped feeling like stone. It felt warm. Alive. A sudden burst of blue light ran through the cracks on its surface, lighting up the entire room in cold fire. The drones outside stopped moving for half a second, like they had lost direction. Ethan stared at it, breathing hard. His mind screamed at him to throw it away, but his grip tightened instead. He did not know why. Then a voice hit his mind. Not through ears. Inside his thoughts. Ethan. He froze. The drones outside restarted, but slower now, like something had disturbed their systems. Ethan looked around. No one was there. Only smoke, broken machines, and alarms still screaming. He whispered, "Who said that?" The relic pulsed again in his hand. This time the voice was clearer. "You are late." Ethan's heart pounded so hard it hurt. He backed toward a corridor as a security gate began lowering in front of him. He slid under it just in time, scraping his shoulder. Pain did not matter. His mind was stuck on the voice. It knew his name. Behind him, the vault erupted into chaos. Automated turrets activated, firing at anything moving. Ethan ran through narrow tunnels, the relic burning hotter with every step. Strangely, the heat did not hurt anymore. It guided him. Every turn he took felt right, as if something inside the object was showing him the way out. A drone burst into the tunnel ahead of him. Ethan stopped instinctively. He had no weapon. Only the relic. The drone locked onto him. Before it fired, the relic in his hand flared again. A pulse of blue energy shot outward, not like an explosion but like a wave. The drone froze mid-air. Its lights flickered once, then died completely. It fell to the ground useless. Ethan stood still, shocked. He had not done that. The relic had. For the first time he looked at it differently. Not as stolen tech. Not as treasure. But as something that was waiting. The tunnels behind him collapsed as the vault's self-destruct system activated. Dust and metal shook the ground. Ethan sprinted forward, guided by the strange pull from the relic. The exit door was still far away, but he could hear more drones coming from above. The entire place was sealing shut. He gritted his teeth and ran harder. The relic suddenly spoke again, softer this time. "We are not alone anymore." Ethan stumbled slightly. "What are you?" he whispered while running. No answer came. Only a sudden vision flashed in his mind for less than a second. Burning stars, a massive shadow shaped like a dragon moving between galaxies, and a world breaking apart. Then it was gone. Ethan gasped, almost falling. The exit was now just ahead, but the ground behind him exploded as security systems caught up. Heat and shockwave pushed him forward. He did not look back. He burst through the final door into the surface world, rolling onto cold metal ground outside the vault entrance. Night air hit his face. Neon lights of the city skyline blinked above like nothing had happened. Behind him, deep underground, the vault sealed itself completely as if it had never been opened. Ethan lay there, breathing heavily, clutching the relic tighter than before. Its glow slowly faded, but not fully. Just before he could stand, the relic whispered one last time, almost like a warning. "Now they know you have me." A distant alarm started ringing somewhere far below the city. And for the first time Ethan realized. He was no longer the one chasing the relic. Something else had already started chasing him. Ethan Vaylor was still lying on the cold metal rooftop when the first drone shadow passed over him. He did not move at first. His chest rose and fell fast, and the relic in his hand gave a soft pulse like a heartbeat that did not belong to him. The city around him looked normal from far away. Bright towers, floating traffic lanes, neon signs blinking in different languages. But Ethan knew that something had changed the moment he stepped out of that vault. Because now the air itself felt watched. He slowly sat up. The relic was no longer burning, but it was warm, like it was alive but resting. The voice from before did not return, yet the silence felt heavier than sound. A sudden sharp beep cut through the night. Ethan looked up. A small surveillance drone hovered between two buildings, scanning the rooftop grid. Its red light locked onto him. "Target confirmed," it said in a flat voice. Ethan's body reacted before his mind did. He rolled behind a broken ventilation unit as a thin beam fired from the drone, cutting the metal where his head had been a second earlier. His heart slammed hard. "They found me already?" he muttered. The relic in his hand pulsed again, slightly stronger this time. Not warning. Not fear. More like awareness. The drone fired again. Ethan had no weapon, no plan, only instinct. He pressed himself lower and watched the beam burn through the air above him. Then something strange happened. The relic grew warmer in a steady rhythm. Ethan felt a pull in his thoughts, like the object was showing him a pattern. Not words. Not images. Just movement. He rolled sideways without thinking. The beam missed again. Ethan froze for half a second. That was not luck. He looked at the relic. "You're guiding me?" No answer, but the pulse continued. The drone adjusted position, preparing a third shot. This time higher power. Ethan realized he could not keep hiding. The rooftop had no escape route except a narrow maintenance ladder leading down into the city's lower level. He made a decision in one breath. He ran. The moment he moved, the drone fired. The beam tore through the metal behind him, sending sparks into the air. Ethan jumped onto the ladder, sliding down fast, hands burning from friction. Behind him, the drone followed. Midway down, the relic suddenly flared. A shockwave burst outward. The ladder vibrated violently. The drone above stalled in midair, its systems flickering again like before in the vault. Ethan reached the bottom and landed hard, rolling onto the ground. Pain shot through his shoulder, but he forced himself up. Around him, the lower city was darker, narrower, filled with old service tunnels and broken transit rails. This was not a place people came willingly. Perfect place to disappear. He started running again, deeper into the tunnel system. Above him, he heard the drone crash somewhere behind. For a moment, silence returned. Ethan slowed down only when he was sure no one followed. He leaned against a wall, breathing heavily. His hands were shaking now, not from fear alone, but from confusion. "What are you doing to me?" he whispered to the relic. This time something changed. A faint projection flickered above the object. Not full light. Just shapes. Ethan saw fragments of something massive. Stars shifting. A long curved structure like a spine stretching across space. And something moving inside it, too large to be fully seen. Then a voice returned. "Come. Oh, certain. You are unstable, but compatible." Ethan's eyes widened. Compatible with what? No answer came immediately. Instead, the projection shifted again. Now he saw a battlefield floating in space. Ships shattered like glass. And a creature, dragon-shaped but not flesh, made of energy and geometry. It looked at him. Not the projection. Directly at him. Ethan stepped back. "I didn't ask for this," he said, voice tight. The relic pulsed harder. "You were chosen before asking." A sudden sound echoed from deeper in the tunnel. Metal footsteps. Multiple. Fast. Ethan turned sharply. Red lights appeared at the far end of the corridor. Not drones this time. Human security units. Armored. Armed. Moving in formation. A voice echoed through the tunnel speaker system. "Civilian Ethan Vaylor. Surrender the artifact immediately. You are in violation of classified containment law." Ethan looked at the relic in his hand. Then at the soldiers. There was no way out. But something inside him refused to give up. He straightened his posture slightly. "No," he said quietly. The soldiers paused for a fraction of a second, surprised. Ethan tightened his grip on the relic. "I don't even know what this is," he said louder now, "but I know you're not taking it from me." The relic responded instantly. A deep pulse spread through the tunnel. The lights flickered. The soldiers' weapons started malfunctioning at the same time. One of them shouted, "Systems are failing. What is that thing?" Ethan stared at the relic, shocked again. It was reacting not just to him, but to his intent. The soldiers raised their weapons anyway, trying to force manual fire. Ethan felt something shift inside him. Not fear. Understanding. The relic was not just protecting him. It was syncing with his decisions. And that meant he was part of it now. A sudden crack echoed through the tunnel ceiling as something massive moved above ground. All systems in the area shut down completely. The soldiers froze. The relic spoke one last time, urgent and sharp. They are not the only ones who heard you. The tunnel lights died. And in total darkness, something far larger than human technology began to wake nearby. Ethan stood in complete darkness for a moment, unable to see anything except the faint glow coming from the relic in his hand. The soldiers in the tunnel were silent now, not because they were calm, but because their systems had fully shut down. Even their helmet lights were dead. Something had changed in the entire underground network. A low vibration rolled through the ground. Not an explosion. More like something moving far below the city. Ethan's breathing slowed as he tried to understand what was happening, but the relic did not give him time to think. It pulsed again, stronger than before, and a thin line of blue light extended into the air like a thread. Then the tunnel walls flickered. For a split second they were not concrete anymore. Ethan saw something else layered beneath reality, metallic structures, vast corridors stretching into impossible distances, and symbols that did not belong to any human language. He staggered back. "What is this?" he whispered. The relic responded immediately. Memory layer detected. Before he could react, the tunnel collapsed into vision completely. Ethan was no longer standing in the underground passage. He was standing in space. Or something like it. Stars surrounded him, but they did not feel distant. They felt close, like he could reach them. A massive structure floated ahead, long, curved, and alive with energy. It looked like a dragon made of light and architecture, stretching across a broken galaxy. Ethan's mind struggled to accept what he was seeing. Then the voice returned. Not just inside him this time. Everywhere. "You have entered partial recall state." The dragon-like structure shifted, turning slowly toward him. Its eyes were not physical, but Ethan still felt them focus on him. He stepped back instinctively, even though there was no ground. "I didn't enter anything," he said. "I'm still in a tunnel." "No," the voice replied. "You are inside the relic's stored perception field." A sudden wave of images hit him. Wars between stars. Entire planets dissolving into light. Civilizations kneeling before massive energy beings shaped like dragons. And humans, his kind, standing beside them not as slaves but as equal partners. Ethan gasped and dropped to one knee, overwhelmed. "This isn't real," he said through clenched teeth. "It is memory," the voice answered. Fragmented but true. The vision shifted again. Now he saw a council of beings. The dragon constructs and human figures stood together. A glowing symbol rotated above them, like a seal holding reality in balance. Then everything shattered. A single human signal appeared in space. Small. Weak. But wrong. It spread like corruption through the system. Ethan felt a sharp pain in his head as the memory reacted violently. "What was that signal?" he asked, struggling to stay focused. The dragon presence hesitated. Then answered. "Human origin anomaly. Designation, origin break code." The vision fractured again. Entire star systems collapsing. Dragons being sealed inside dimensional locks. Human fleets disappearing without trace. Ethan saw betrayal, but not clear enough to understand who betrayed whom. Then silence. He was back in the tunnel instantly. He fell forward, catching himself against the wall. Sweat ran down his face. His hands were shaking harder now. The relic's glow stabilized slowly, like it was recovering with him. The soldiers were still there, but they had not moved. Their weapons were frozen mid-cycle, useless. Ethan looked at them, but his mind was somewhere else entirely. Behind the soldiers, deeper in the tunnel, something else was approaching. The sound like metal folding itself over and over. Lyra Sen stepped out from the shadows. She was not wearing official security armor. Instead, she had scavenger-grade gear, light but reinforced, with scanning tools attached to her wrist. Her eyes locked immediately onto the relic in Ethan's hand. "So it's real," she said softly. Ethan turned sharply. "Who are you?" She did not raise her weapon. That alone confused him. "I was tracking the energy spike from the vault," she replied. "You triggered half the city's underground monitoring grid." Ethan tightened his grip on the relic. "You're with them?" Lyra shook her head. "If I was, you'd already be dead." A brief silence passed between them. Then the tunnel lights flickered again, weakly this time, like systems trying to restart. Lyra stepped closer but stopped at a safe distance. "You heard it too, didn't you?" she asked. Ethan did not answer. But his expression gave everything away. Lyra nodded slowly. "Then you're not the first." That hit him harder than he expected. "What do you mean not the first?" he asked. She hesitated for a fraction of a second, then activated a small holographic device on her wrist. Images appeared between them, faces of different people, all connected to similar relics, all with the same hollow eyes after exposure. "They all heard voices," she said. "All of them started seeing things no one else could see. And all of them broke." Ethan felt cold. "But you're still here," he said. "I stopped using my relics," she replied. Before they finished sinking, Ethan looked down at the object in his hand. It pulsed once, like it had heard her. Then it spoke again directly into Ethan's mind. "Do not trust incomplete carriers." Ethan's eyes widened. Lyra noticed his reaction immediately. "What did it say?" she asked sharply. Before Ethan could answer, the ground beneath them shook violently. A deep mechanical roar echoed through the tunnels. Not human security. Not drones. Something far larger had entered the underground system. The relic flared suddenly, projecting a single image between them. A massive dragon-shaped construct opening its eyes again. And this time it was not looking at memory. It was looking at them in real time. The tunnel lights died completely. And Lyra whispered one sentence that changed everything. "It found you faster than I thought." The tunnel did not just go dark. It felt like reality itself was being pulled away. Ethan stood frozen, the relic burning hot in his hand, while Lyra instinctively stepped closer to him instead of running. The ground shook again, stronger this time, like something enormous was moving underneath the city's bones. A deep metallic roar echoed through the tunnel system. Not human. Not machine. Something ancient. The soldiers behind them finally snapped out of their frozen state, but their weapons still refused to function. Panic spread through their voices. "Systems are dead. Everything is down. We're getting movement from lower sublevels." Ethan barely heard them. His attention was locked on the relic. It was no longer showing small pulses. Now it was glowing steadily, like a beacon answering something far away. Lyra grabbed Ethan's arm. "We need to move. Now." But Ethan did not move immediately. His eyes were fixed on the darkness ahead of the tunnel. Something was coming, and he could feel it the same way he felt gravity. "I think it's already here," he said quietly. A moment later, the tunnel walls lit up, not with electricity, but with lines of blue energy spreading like veins through concrete. The structure itself was reacting. Then the ceiling split open. Not by explosion. By bending. Reality folded upward as if something massive was pushing through layers of space that were never meant to be touched. A shape emerged. At first, it was only fragments, curved light, shifting geometry, and fragments of metallic-looking energy. Then it formed fully. A dragon-like construct, far larger than the tunnel system itself, yet somehow fitting inside it without breaking it apart. It did not walk or crawl. It existed. Its eyes opened, and everything stopped. Even the soldiers were silent now. Their fear was so strong they could not even speak. Ethan felt his knees weaken, but he forced himself to stay standing. The relic in his hand reacted violently, almost like it wanted to escape his grip. The dragon construct focused directly on him. A voice filled the entire tunnel, deeper than before, layered with countless echoes. "Key carrier identified." Lyra stepped back, her face pale. "Ethan, don't let it sink fully." But Ethan could not respond. The connection was already forming. The relic lifted slightly from his hand as if gravity no longer applied to it. Thin lines of blue light extended from it toward the dragon construct above. Ethan felt something entering his mind again, but this time it was not just vision. It was contact. He saw himself standing on a massive battlefield floating in space. Cities burned across planets. The dragon constructs were fighting alongside humans, not against them. There was unity, precision, trust. Then it shifted. He saw betrayal again, but clearer now. A human command center. A decision. A signal sent into the heart of the dragon network. Everything collapsing afterward like a chain reaction across galaxies. Ethan clenched his jaw. "Stop," he said aloud, even though he wasn't sure who he was speaking to. The dragon construct responded instantly. Memory locked by protocol failure. Restoration incomplete. Lyra shouted, "It's trying to overwrite your mind." But Ethan suddenly realized something important. It was not forcing him. It was testing him. The relic pulsed again, showing another layer of memory, smaller this time. A single human standing in front of a dragon construct, refusing an order to activate a destruction sequence. That human looked exactly like him. Ethan's breath stopped. "I've seen this before," he whispered. The construct's voice lowered. Confirmation required. Are you the original line or fractured echo? Ethan did not understand the question fully, but he understood the stakes. If he answered wrong, something irreversible might happen. Lyra grabbed his shoulder. Ethan, don't respond. We don't know what it will do. But Ethan gently removed her hand. Because for the first time he felt something clear inside the chaos. Truth did not feel like fear. It felt like certainty. I don't know what I am, he said, looking up at the massive construct. But I'm not your enemy. The relic flared violently. The dragon construct paused. For the first time it did not respond immediately. The silence inside the tunnel became unbearable. Even the soldiers stopped breathing loudly. Then the construct spoke again. Unknown response detected. Humanity variant, unclassified. A sudden shockwave passed through the tunnel, not destructive but scanning. Ethan felt every part of him being analyzed at once. His thoughts, memories, choices, emotions. He nearly collapsed under the pressure. Lyra grabbed him again, pulling him back. You're going to lose yourself. But Ethan gritted his teeth. I'm still here, he said through the strain. I'm still me. Something changed. The scanning stopped abruptly. The construct's eyes shifted slightly as if confused. Then a new signal entered the space. Not from the dragon. From somewhere deeper. Far beyond the tunnel. Far beyond the city. A second presence awakened. The construct's tone changed instantly. Warning, second entity detected. The ground beneath them cracked violently as energy surged upward. Lyra shouted, "What now?" Ethan looked down at the relic, and realized it was no longer only reacting to the dragon. It was reacting to something else too. Something that should not have known he existed yet. The tunnel exploded into white-blue light as both forces converged above them. And just before everything was swallowed, the dragon construct spoke one final line. You were not supposed to wake both sides. Everything went silent. And then the second presence answered from the void. He is already ours. The white-blue explosion did not feel like heat or force. It felt like reality being rewritten in a single breath. Ethan stood at the center of it, unable to move, while Lyra held on to him with everything she had left. The tunnel, the soldiers, the walls, everything dissolved into a shifting field of light and silence. Then just as suddenly everything stopped. They were no longer in the tunnel. Ethan fell to his knees on a cold, black surface that looked like glass but felt like metal. Above them there was no ceiling. Only endless space filled with slow-moving stars. The relic in his hand was no longer glowing violently. It was steady now, like a heartbeat that had finally found rhythm. Lyra looked around, breathing hard. Where are we? Ethan did not answer immediately. His eyes were locked on the sky. Something massive was forming above them, like two invisible forces pressing against each other through space itself. Then the dragon construct appeared again. But it was not alone. A second presence unfolded beside it, vast, silent, and darker. Not evil but unknown. It did not take a dragon shape. It was more like a shifting shadow of impossible geometry, constantly rearranging itself as if reality could not decide what it was. Both forces faced each other above the broken city layer they now stood on. Ethan slowly stood up. His legs felt weak, but his mind was sharp in a way it had never been before. The relic no longer felt like an object. It felt like a bridge connecting him to something far beyond human understanding. The dragon construct spoke first. Subject remains unstable. Human core intact. Interference detected. The second presence answered instantly, its voice deeper, colder, but still controlled. Core was never meant to remain intact. He is a link. Not a person. Ethan's grip tightened. I am right here, he said loudly. Stop talking about me like I'm not. The two massive entities paused. For the first time, they seemed to focus directly on him as an individual. Lyra pulled him slightly back. Ethan, you're talking to things that move stars. Be careful. But Ethan did not step back. He had already seen too much to pretend he was powerless anymore. I don't care what I was supposed to be, he said, voice steady. I know what I am now. The relic pulsed gently as if agreeing. A wave of memory hit him, but this time it was controlled. Clear. He saw it. Not destruction. Not war. A moment before everything broke. Human and dragon intelligence working together, stabilizing collapsing universes. Not enemies. Not rulers. Partners maintaining balance across reality. Then the human signal that changed everything. The origin break code. Ethan finally understood. It was not a weapon. It was a mistake. A corrupted command that fractured both systems, splitting memory, identity, and timelines apart. The dragon construct spoke again. Restoration requires resetting human anchor. The shadow presence responded. Resetting human anchor results in dragon network collapse. Ethan exhaled slowly. So that's it? Either I get erased or everything else dies. Neither answered directly. But their silence confirmed it. Lyra stepped forward. There has to be another option. Both entities responded at the same time. No alternative exists. Ethan closed his eyes for a moment. The weight of it all pressed down on him, but instead of fear, something else formed. Understanding. He opened his eyes again. What if you're both wrong? He said. The dragon construct shifted slightly. Statement invalid. The shadow presence echoed. Human subject lacks complete data. Ethan pointed at the relic. You're both reading me like I'm incomplete data too, but I'm standing here anyway. That means your system isn't perfect. Lyra stared at him. Ethan, what are you doing? I'm thinking, he replied calmly. He looked up at both entities. If I'm the link between you, then maybe I'm not supposed to be reset or erased. Maybe I'm supposed to decide. A long silence followed. Even space itself felt still. Then the relic began to react differently. Instead of pulsing outward, it folded inward, forming a tight sphere of light above Ethan's palm. The dragon construct spoke slower now. Decision authority. Not registered in original design. The shadow presence added, unexpected evolution path detected. Ethan took a step forward. I don't care what your original design was, he said. You created something that can think. So now you deal with the result. The sphere of light expanded between the two massive entities. Lyra stepped back, shielding her face. Ethan did not. Inside the sphere he saw every possible outcome at once. Collapse, reset, destruction, rebirth. But one path was different. One where neither side erased the other. It required something neither system had accounted for. Trust. Ethan raised his hand slightly. I choose balance, he said. The relic reacted instantly. A pulse spread outward, not destructive but stabilizing. Both entities froze. For a moment nothing happened. Then slowly the dragon construct began to stabilize, its shape becoming less fragmented. The shadow presence stopped shifting so violently, becoming more structured. But the process was not complete. The dragon spoke one final warning. Balance initiated. But fragmented systems will seek reconstruction. The shadow presence added. This is not ending. Only alignment. The space around them began to dissolve again, but not violently this time. More like a transition. Lyra grabbed Ethan's arm. What did you just do? Ethan looked at her, exhausted but steady. I think I just made things worse and better at the same time. She gave a small, nervous laugh. That sounds about right. The last thing Ethan saw before the shift completed was the relic floating above his hand, no longer just an artifact. It had become a key. And somewhere far beyond this reality, something else responded to the change. A new signal echoed through the void. Primary balance carrier confirmed. Initiating next phase access. Then everything went white. And the next layer of the universe began to open.